The following presentation is intended for mature audiences only and contains elements that are not suitable for some audience members. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Petty Details, where the crew gallivants down a tree-lined lane of conversation on all kinds of different subjects. Join the crew as they jump in the Wayback Machine in the quest for nuggets of knowledge. Our journey will allegedly drop some petty details on you that you didn't know you needed to know until now. Hello, crew. Welcome to Petty Details.
Hello.
Hello.
We've got Cam, Monica, and Snickers.
This is Finnick.
Oh, sorry, Finnick.
It
Where's
was
Snickers?
Oh,
Where'd she go?
She got tired of staring at me.
Well then, all right.
I bred Finnick with some scratches, so he'll be here for a little bit.
As always, subscribe to us so that you never miss a petty detail. And
Yes.
we are trying to come into, and by we, I mean me, come into the 20th century here.
21st century?
Yes, no,
We're
I'm
branching
still in the
out.
20th century here. But we have a Facebook page. We have an X account, formerly Twitter, and an
Yes.
Instagram account. So
Go follow us all over the place.
check them
All you gotta
out.
do is click the link tree and it's got all of it in there.
There you go.
Bam.
Yeah. So also leave us comments on our YouTube page because we love to see
Please.
those.
Heck
Yes.
yeah. Suggestions? What do you want to hear about?
What do you want to hear? Yeah.
Mhm.
Tell us your ideas. And if we miss a petty detail, drop it on us. We need to know too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I may not get them all. You never know.
There are a lot out there, so.
There
Yeah.
are.
Too many.
All right. So today, you guys ready?
Oh, what are we talking about?
You guys remember Phil Hartman?
Yes.
Cam, did you do your homework?
I did.
Yay!
I'm so
I
proud of
watched
you.
Jingle All the Way, which I believe I might have seen when I was really little.
It's
But
my
because I was
favorite
like,
Christmas movie.
this seems familiar, but I didn't
Right.
remember the entirety of the movie.
Yeah, and he's great in it, right?
hmm He gave me what was it? His acting gave me Grinch,
Oh,
Jim
Jim
Carrey.
I
Carrey's
can see that.
Grinch.
Yeah.
Because he's really pushing. He's
Mhm.
overact. Yeah.
He's very animated, yeah,
Yeah.
in that one.
Right.
These cookies.
Yeah. Put the cookie down. It was so funny.
Uh, all right, so we are going to talk about Phil.
Oh.
Phil was born in September.
He was not hatched.
He was
Congratulations.
not hatched.
No, he was not.
He didn't spawn out of nowhere.
Right.
No.
He did spawn out of Canada, though, so there is that.
Okay.
So
Good
he was
old
born
Canada.
in September of 1948 in Brantford, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
Mm,
His parents
Cold.
had 8 kids.
That's a lot of
8?
children.
Yeah, and he was
Wow.
smack dab in the middle at number 4.
Wow.
That's terrible.
Talk about middle child.
I
Yeah,
would be
middle child syndrome
mad.
for real. And he had a pretty normal childhood, with his dad being a salesman and his mom staying at home because what else are you can do with 8 kids?
Right. I mean, daycare would be astronomical.
Well, especially in the 50s. Come on, you didn't do that.
Well, that's true.
At some point, the oldest kid just takes care of the rest.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
you hope anyway.
With
Yeah.
that many.
Mhm.
So in 1958, the family moved to the US, to Maine first.
Oh, okay.
But then they moved around a little bit, and eventually the family headed out west to California, where he went to high school.
Okay.
Okay.
So Phil was known as a class clown,
Oh,
but-
shocker.
right? But he decides not to pursue that, and he decides to go into graphic arts and get his degree in that.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Mhm.
I had no idea.
No.
Mhm.
And he actually did some pretty cool things with his graphics arts degree. And here's a petty detail. This one's really cool. I was really surprised by this one. He designed a bunch of album covers.
No
Really?
way.
hmm
That's cool.
Big album covers. So, including 3 album covers for the band America. So, a
Okay.
little bit
Okay.
history. America's Greatest Hits in 75, Harbor in 77, and Silent Letter in 79.
Wow.
He did 2 album covers for the band Poco.
Hmm.
Seven in 74, and Legend in 78. And the Steely Dan Asia album cover in 77.
Whoa.
And he
Hmm.
even designed the logo for Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
No way. That's freaking cool.
Right? I was like, holy cow, I didn't realize he was that talented in that
Yeah,
way.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So he was also a roadie for a rock band called Rockin' Foo.
Oh,
Okay.
And he,
Rockin' Foo.
yeah,
When was he a roadie for them? Like what years? Does it say?
70s something, yeah.
Okay.
And he did some graphics work for his brother's talent agency.
Okay.
okay.
So the whole family's kind of, well, not the whole family, but two of the eight are in the
A fourth.
industry here. Yeah.
Hmm.
So around 1975, Phil joins the Groundlings, which is an improv group in LA.
Okay.
And the
Oh,
Groundlings,
petty detail about myself. I was in an improv troupe in freshman year of college.
were you?
I
Nice.
was, I was.
That's amazing.
I It was
Fun.
great. I loved it. I then had to focus on classes, so I had to stop it. But it was amazing. It was a great
Darn it.
pastime.
It's time to get back to it.
Yeah.
Yes. Do it.
So the Groundlings had some big names come from there. We're talking Lisa Kudrow,
Oh my
Jennifer,
gosh.
yeah, Jennifer Coolidge,
What?
Maya Rudolph,
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
and Will Ferrell.
Okay,
Wow.
we're talking some heavy hitters,
These are
yeah.
big names. Yeah.
Hmm.
Which I mean, don't get me wrong, Phil Hartman in his own
Right.
right is absolutely a heavy hitter too.
Yeah, but
He is, yeah, his
yeah,
SNL days are some of my favorites.
yeah, it's just as big as like, Second
Yeah,
City or anything like that.
right.
So with the Groundlings, he's really like honing his skills. He's starting to write and create these characters. He is in this troupe with none other than Mr. Pee Wee Herman himself, Paul Rubens.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
And him and Paul really start to create the character of Pee Wee Herman.
I had no idea he was like even remotely involved with that character.
Wow.
Me either.
That's crazy.
Phil even helps write on the show Pee Wee's Playhouse, which I loved,
Yeah.
and on Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Wow. Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Yeah.
This is why I love petty details because what?
Mhm.
And Phil also played Captain Carl on Pee Wee's Playhouse, which I didn't remember until I saw it.
I don't remember him on there either. Well, I mean, it's
Hmm.
also been a gajillion and a half years since
Yeah.
I've seen that, but yeah.
I wonder if that show still holds up because I haven't seen it in a while.
I don't, that's a good question. Might be worth a rewatch just to see.
Yeah, exactly. And during this time in the early 80s, Phil is also doing some voice work on cartoons like Scooby-Doo, The Jetsons,
Okay.
Oh,
and DuckTales. Woo!
yay. I love
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
I
Yes.
love DuckTales.
And he's getting some small parts in TV shows like Magnum PI,
Okay.
Okay.
which I also loved.
Love that show. Yes. I actually really enjoyed the new one too.
Really?
I was
Okay.
surprised. I started watching and I was like, okay, like, yeah, this works too.
All right, we'll give him that. So,
Yeah.
he is also getting small parts in movies like Ruthless People, where he was a newsreader,
Okay.
Okay.
Jumpin' Jack Flash, where he was Fred. And another petty detail, there is a scene in Jumpin' Jack Flash that was filmed on the street above where I grew up in San Francisco.
No
No way.
way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I haven't seen that
What?
movie like in 1,000 years, so I don't know that I could even pick out the street, but yeah. And we've already talked about this one internally, but the Three Amigos, where he
Right.
played Sam,
Yes.
and he is in there. We had to go look it up because we were like, well,
Okay.
we don't remember that, but
That was my extra credit. That did not happen.
that's all right.
It's
But you
okay.
have
It's
to
still
watch
worth
that movie.
watching. I was gonna say it's
I
still worth
need
watching.
to.
You should
Yeah.
absolutely still go watch it.
Absolutely. Yep. And Spaceballs, where he plays Dink.
Now, yes, I've seen that so many times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't remember
Like,
him in that either,
incredible.
though.
No.
It's been forever since I've seen it, but yeah, I didn't remember him.
Also,
in there.
Oh no, it was you. I also mentioned that, well, it was something, and I said, "Oh yeah, he played Dink," and someone said, "Double income, no kids," and I was like,
That was me.
"No, not another per." Yeah, I know you did, but one of my friends said the same thing, and I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Wrong one.
I was like, "Yeah, basically, sure."
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so he's really like getting his name out there.
hmm
We have another petty detail.
Ding.
Phil was Waldo in the Van Halen Hot for Teacher music video.
What?
Are you serious? Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
That's crazy.
That is fantastic.
I found some great stuff on this one. I was like, oh my God.
Also, I feel like we
Mm,
do need a sound effect for petty detail.
We
Ding.
do. When we figure out how to do sound effects,
Right.
Right.
maybe Gary can call us Gary.
Especially for our Wayback Machine.
Yeah, help us out
I'm
because
about
I
to,
don't know how to do this.
I don't even-
If
I'm gonna
anybody
order
else
a
knows,
basic soundboard, and you just
There
yeah,
you go.
do it.
there's got to be a make your own soundboard online. Got to be.
I think there is, but you can also like order
Order
sounds,
actual
which is
one.
what I was thinking of doing, but I don't know how to play them either. So that's a whole nother thing. If you know how to do that, please let us know. Hook
Yeah,
us
Yeah,
help us
up.
out.
you're a
Help
soundboard
us.
person.
Right.
All right. So Phil's with the Groundlings for a long time, like 11 years.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow.
When
Dang.
he catches the eye of Lorne Michaels, the producer of Saturday Night Live.
Mm.
That
So
is a
in
very
night,
good person to catch the eye
oh
of,
yeah,
especially during that time.
and you know that Lorne Michaels is like watching the Groundlings
Oh, for sure.
because so many of the people that were on SNL came from there,
Absolutely.
and you know
And
some
it
of the other
makes,
ones, but
yeah, and it makes sense because SNL is basically just televised improv.
yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
scripted, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of improv too. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So in 1986, Phil is brought into SNL as a writer,
Okay.
and
hmm
then as a cast member.
Okay.
Okay.
And he's great on the show. He's got a bunch of different characters
Fantastic.
that he does, and then he has those impressions, like his impression of Bill Clinton,
Oh,
on
his
point.
impressions they were like good. They were
Yeah,
spot on.
exactly. And people really love Phil, like on and off the show. The cast loved him because he was said to hold like everybody together.
Okay.
And the public loves him too because he's on SNL for 8 seasons,
Wow.
which is kind of a long time for SNL.
That
hmm
seems to be, yeah.
And by 1994, Phil was a well known face and voice.
hmm He did have a very distinct voice.
Oh, yeah. hmm And he gets one of the main roles on a show called News Radio.
That's where I know him from the most, for
Yeah,
sure.
me
That
too.
was a good show too.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, Cam, it is a
Also worth
pretty,
watching.
yeah, it's a pretty good
Oh,
show. It has some big names in it. It's got
Yeah.
okay.
Dave Foley, Stephen Root, Andy Dick, Maura Tierney. You know
Just
her
also
face.
keep in mind it was the 90s. Just
Yeah.
roll with that when as
Yeah.
you're watching
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And you may not know their names, but if you look them up, like I can guarantee you that you've seen them
Seen
in
them.
something.
Oh yeah.
hmm He's also become a regular voice on The Simpsons.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really?
hmm
which voice?
I think he was the guy, the
I
Duff Man
can't.
or something. I think.
Oh, okay. I
Hold
think
on.
yeah. I think you're right.
Hmm.
Let me
Jokes on
look it
us.
up.
He's Marge.
Uh, let's see. He played Troy McClure, Larry Dalrymple,
Okay.
Lyle Landley, Bill Clinton.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. So he
Yeah, I
revised
for
his
Yeah.
impression
right,
of
Yeah.
right.
Troy
Bill
McClure.
They
Yeah,
Clinton.
said
not the best guy.
who can do that the best?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Pull him on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And he started voicing characters on The Simpsons way back in 1991.
Whoa.
hmm
Wow. Okay.
He's also starting to get bigger roles in movies. And in 1995, he stars in House Guest with Sinbad. In 96, he's in Sergeant Bilko with Steve Martin.
hmm
And obviously, 96, also sees him in Jingle All the Way with Arnold.
Very nice.
Yes.
I love
And
that
Sinbad.
movie. And Sinbad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1998, he's in Small Soldiers.
Oh yeah. Forgot he was in that too.
So this guy is like working constantly.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a ton of voice acting, TV shows, movies, all the while being on talk shows and doing commercials. So he's like a busy guy.
Wow.
Yeah. He
Mhm.
is
When does he
He's
sleep?
keeping himself busy.
everywhere. Yeah,
When does he
but
sleep? He doesn't.
he doesn't. Okay, but let's talk about his personal life. So he
Okay.
gets
Okay.
married in 1970 to Gretchen Lewis, but they divorced 2 years later.
Okay.
Okay.
Then he marries Lisa Strain in 1982, and that marriage only lasts about 3 years.
Okay.
And basically, the problem is Phil.
Oh,
Oh no.
he's always everywhere.
Working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not only is he busy all the time, but he's also not really there emotionally when he is at home.
Oof.
Okay.
And this is a
Tragic.
theme with him. Like everybody says it.
Right.
He was
Interesting,
great
but
in the
yet
beginning, but
His
I
whole
was gonna
life
say
is almost improv.
almost, yeah.
right.
Like
But
he's
it's
not actually.
interesting though that like they described him as like the one that held everybody together
Mm,
in the um improv group.
Yeah,
hmm.
but that's work.
Right.
Wow, good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
So apparently he's the type of guy who really likes the chase. He likes the falling in love part. But once that
Oh,
Okay.
new, fresh spark wears off, he kind of
Mhm.
the
disappears.
honeymoon phase.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Lisa described him as being a recluse when he wasn't on stage.
Okay.
Wow.
And he isn't like mean or cheating or anything like that. He's just like checked out.
I was gonna say he's just
Right.
distant. He's just not
Why?
there.
I mean, also if you're on almost all day, like after you
Oh, yeah.
almost just have
Almost
to
it.
check out. Yeah.
Yeah, you disassociate. You're just like, and I'm off.
Yeah.
Now I'm just gonna sit here.
Right.
Yeah. But he can't seem to like,
Balance.
Balance.
He doesn't have
yeah, he
balance.
can't
Yeah.
balance and
Mm.
he doesn't know, I
Which is
don't think, really how
possible.
to
You just have to work
connect.
at it.
Yeah.
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 So, in 1986, he meets a new woman named Bryn Omdahl, and
Okay.
she's pretty. She is working as a swimsuit model.
She's
Ooh.
pretty.
Yes, no, she's pretty.
Other two women, horrid. No, I'm just
Right.
kidding.
They might be pretty too, but they are not this pretty. They are not
She's
swimsuit
not,
I
they're
was
models.
gonna
not
say
swimsuit
she's next
models. Yeah.
level.
Yeah. And she's trying to break into acting. And
Mm,
as he does, he falls in love super quick, and they get married in 1987
Okay.
dang.
because he doesn't learn from his past mistakes.
Right?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Bryn, whose name was actually Vicky Joe.
Mm.
Okay.
And she's about 10 years Phil's junior. She grew up
Oh.
in Minnesota in a small town. She had a normal childhood also with her 3 siblings. Bryn had also been married before in 1977, but that
Mm.
only lasted a couple of years.
Okay.
So Bryn starts out modeling locally in Minnesota.
Hmm.
Not a huge market out there for that.
Can't imagine. Are you doing
Unless
winter
you're,
coats
I was gonna say, unless you're
and
modeling winter wear,
scarves? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
gloves, you could be a hand
that
model.
time you can like do one of those shows at the mall,
Yeah.
That's
like Tiffany.
Right.
Anyway, when was the Mall America put in?
Oh,
Uh,
um
I don't remember.
I don't know. Well, if it was there when
like
she
can I
was
make a
there,
guess?
yeah,
1983 is my guess. Let me know if I'm right.
sure. Yes, please
Let's
put it in the
see.
in the comments because we don't know.
Oh wait, I think Monica's got us.
Yep, I'm gonna Google it because I'm curious.
I'm gonna go with 91.
Because
What did you
84, I
what
said
did you say?
83.
You said 83?
I
And what
feel
did
like
you say,
80
Meg?
I said 91.
Okay.
I feel like 84 is like peak mall
Ah,
vibes.
for sure.
Like in between 80 to late 80s. So I'm like
Mhm.
83 is like a little bit before. So I'm gonna do that. When is it?
We're gonna kind of split the difference. June 14th, 1989. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It opened it opened in 92.
Oh,
Construction
Oh.
Meg
began
got it in
in June of 89.
89.
So it
Darn.
opened August 11th, 1992.
Oh, all right then.
Well, egg
So
on my face, I guess.
Usually, Cam, you are like spot on with those date
hmm
guesses.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we know that Bryn was not walking the Mall of
no.
America.
Right. Unfortunately,
In her,
she might be in a mall, but
she may
Yes,
have
not the
but
been.
Mall
not
of
that one.
America.
No.
Also, weird place to put the Mall of America. Like, I can't get
Yeah.
there. I mean, I could, but like, it's like
I've never
reaching
been
for the
there.
top shelf, literally,
Right.
Yeah, for real.
especially from Louisiana.
Yeah, exactly. So, she does what all young model slash actresses do. She moves out to LA.
Go to
Right.
California.
As you do.
She's
Right.
the typical LA story, right? Wants to be a model slash actress,
Of
Hmm.
course.
and she gets some jobs, but she just can't seem to like make it.
Hmm.
Okay.
And by the time that she meets Phil, she's like looking down the barrel of 30. So
Okay.
Rough ages
almost
Hey.
there.
past her modeling age. Yeah.
Right.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay.
For those days.
Yeah.
Right, I guess so. I guess
Yeah.
so. I still got a chance. I got
Yeah.
5 more years
You got
till
5 more years. You're
30.
good.
Yeah.
So
Hire me, please.
Phil
Yes.
and Bryn have their son Sean in 1989 and a daughter Bergen in 1992.
Bergen. Is her middle name like start with a D?
I don't know.
Bergen D and then last name.
Hartman?
Burgundy.
Oh,
Burgundy, like the
The
color.
color
I get
burgundy.
it. I'm like, what? I get
My
it.
bad.
I'm
My
all
bad.
over it. I'm all over it.
Thanks. I got a couple chuckles, guys.
No, that
You know what? I'm gonna leave the Zoom call.
no, that was honestly sharp, Cam, because like when you said it, you were like D, and I was like, where are you going with it? And you were like Bergen, D, Hartman, and I was like, yep.
I'm a little slow tonight. Okay, so by this time Bryn's dreams of like hitting it big as an actress are fading.
Uh-oh.
And she really only gets one bit part in a movie called North in
Mhm.
1994 as a waitress.
Oh.
Okay.
But
North.
mostly she's just being a mom.
Hmm.
And Bryn actually likes being a mom, but this whole
That's good.
situation with Phil gone most of the time and her not having any real career of her own just isn't sitting well.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
And pretty quickly after they get married, he does his normal thing of checking out emotionally.
No good.
And she's getting like super jealous of his career because that's kind of what she wanted, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It also doesn't help that Bryn is turning to drinking and cocaine.
Oh
Oh.
no.
Yeah, this combination is not a good one.
Drinking an
Mm.
upper and a downer.
Right.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
Right. It's no
It's
bueno.
no. So when Phil is home, she's pretty like volatile and violent.
Oh, yikes.
Like the fights would have her kicking him and throwing stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
dang.
no.
Physical violent. Okay.
Yeah. And she's also mad that not only has she not been able to become this big actress like she wanted to, but she's also kind of mad that she's not really being paraded around in front of the cameras as much as she wanted.
You
Hmm.
mean like at award shows and like
Right.
As
basically on his arm?
as
Exactly.
Mrs. Phil Hartman.
Hmm.
Okay.
So she's really like craving the spotlight. And I think that she thought, oh, I'm going to marry, a big star and
A
get to go to all
big
these
name, yeah.
premieres and get all these
Right.
acting jobs. And instead, she's at home with the kids most of the time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, Now, you can't be too sad for her. I mean, she does have a beautiful 4,000 square foot house in Encino.
Oh my God.
She
That doesn't
has,
hurt.
no,
What a small little house.
Right?
right?
It's a garage, basically.
Yeah. She's even got nannies and she's getting plastic surgery to try and stay pretty for these acting jobs that she's not getting.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Does she have a chef as well? Well, I guess the nannies
probably.
might cook,
Yeah,
honestly.
somebody cooks for her. I can guarantee
Yeah.
it's probably not her.
Yeah.
But this is still a situation where she really thought she'd be happy being the wife of a celebrity, and it doesn't turn out to be all she hoped and dreamed.
You
Mm-mm.
mean the grass is not greener on the other side? Oh my
Mm-mm.
Right.
gosh.
Nope.
Shocker.
Yeah. And Phil's not real happy either because he never knows what mood she's going to be in.
He doesn't know
Mm.
what he's coming home to yet.
Mm-mm. And
She's
her
one of those mood rings.
yeah. before he
That
gets home.
totally worked. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They
A-
absolutely do.
Absolutely. And her substance abuse is causing issues in their marriage. So she's in and out of
Shocked.
rehab. They are trying to do couples counseling, but they're fighting.
Yikes.
Like to the point where there are stories of them fighting in dressing rooms as he's trying to get ready for a performance.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Yeah, this is like public fighting too.
yeah.
Jeez.
And Phil isn't the only one who's on the receiving end of Bryn's crazy attitude.
Mm.
It had gotten so bad by mid May 1998 that their housekeeper had quit because of it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah. And Bryn's pulling the old, even negative attention is good attention. And since that's
Mm.
the only attention I'm getting, I'm going to pick a fight.
Right.
Right. But he's sick of it. And at this
Right.
point in their relationship, he just doesn't really want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
And,
Fair.
he always checks out anyway. So he's like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
When she starts picking a fight, he usually just leaves and goes to sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like
Walk
he's
away
not dealing with,
completely.
yeah, he's not dealing with confrontation with her at all. And she's doing this more and more. And obviously, him going to sleep when she's trying to fight just pisses her off more and more.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think's gonna happen?
I'm like, when you're actively trying to engage somebody, yeah.
Right. Let's
Yeah.
not
Just
try to
gonna,
do effective communication. Let's
uh,
just check out.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's just gonna
Like,
add fuel to the fire in a
Mm-hmm.
negative way for
mm,
sure.
Yeah. So it's just like this bad cycle. So May 27th, she goes to dinner with a friend. She has a couple drinks. Things are fine. She doesn't mention any issues with Phil.
okay.
She then heads over to her friend Ron Douglas's house and she
Okay.
has a couple more drinks. But she
Uh-oh.
is complaining about Phil.
She also doing
Okay.
lines, or she's
I don't
just
know. So I
okay.
think she's just drinking
Okay.
at this point.
She chose one substance tonight. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
so far. Anyway.
Yes, so far.
And when she gets home around 12:45 a.m., her and Phil get into it about her substance abuse.
Damn.
And apparently Phil tells her that if she starts using drugs again, that he's going to divorce her. Because
Oh,
remember, she's been
Okay.
in and out of rehab.
Yeah.
oh, okay. I was about to say, did they take like she's done rehab? So yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
quite a few times.
She just relapsed.
Yeah.
Sucks,
So
Yeah.
Phil does what he normally does when this stuff happens. He goes to bed.
bro. Come on. So he is
He's like,
sleeping. I
eh.
was like, when does this guy sleep? When he should be speaking to his wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
When
When
his
she
wife is
fights with him.
picking fights. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
And she basically sits up stewing over this. And sometime before
Hmm.
3 a.m. on May 28th, she shoots Phil 3 times while he's sleeping
Yeah.
What? Where?
in the house, in the bedroom.
No, where on
On
him?
him.
Oh,
Like dead, deadly
yeah, no, he's dead,
shots?
dead.
Yeah.
No way.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
No, that's the biggest shock to me because I thought this guy was still alive. Oh my
No,
God.
Uh-uh.
no, he is
Oh,
not. Yeah, he
And he
died
met a
before you were
tragic
born.
end.
Yeah.
he died before I was born. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Dang.
So meanwhile, because of course it always gets worse on petty details,
Right.
Naturally.
the kids are asleep in their rooms.
Oh no.
How old are the kids at this point?
They got married in 87, so 89, 92. So they're about what, six,
6. I was gonna say 6 and
6 and like
Jeez.
8
yeah.
kind of thing, 9, somewhere
Ugh.
around there.
I
Yeah,
didn't
they're
see, and
not
I
little,
didn't.
little, but they
I was
are.
gonna say I didn't realize they were that young
Mm-hmm.
when I remember him, Pat. Like I
Hmm.
remember this whole thing happening. Um, I didn't realize his kids were that young though.
Yeah.
Dang.
So Bryn, who's drunk, and am at this point on cocaine and an antidepressant.
Oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
a
Yeah,
You
threefer.
are you are crossing so many lines.
so
Your
many
poor
lines.
your poor brain is fried.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Oh yeah,
your brain
like
doesn't know what to
mm-mm.
Mm-mm. So she
Yeah,
leaves the house. Go
you're
ahead.
not making the smartest of
Oh
decisions
no, no,
in that capacity.
you were messed up.
and
Yeah.
now your
Mm-hmm.
adrenaline's pumping because you've just done what you just
Mm-hmm.
did to
Yeah.
Hmm.
God.
So she leaves the house around 3:30 and she goes back to her friend Ron Douglas's house, where she tells him that she's shot Phil, but she doesn't know why. And of course,
Oh,
he doesn't believe her because it's like crazy, right?
Well, yeah,
right,
that's something like that. It's just like, yeah, okay, that's one. That's a way to start a conversation.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
But she shows him the gun and he finally realizes, okay, it's the middle
He's
of the
not
night.
kidding.
She's got a
Yeah.
gun. Maybe I should go check this out.
She's
Yikes.
up and
But she
down.
doesn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Oh
she's
my
messed
gosh.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
But
That's
she's
how,
just,
like, that just
yeah,
goes to show how much she is, like, just messed up in the head right now.
yeah, and angry and,
Uh-huh.
and like
Do
probably actually seeing red.
do
Oh,
people
yeah.
who are under the influence, do they get insanity pleas or no? That doesn't count, right? Because
I
you
don't think
you
so.
Uh-uh.
chose to take the. It's not an insanity thing. You chose to take
No,
the
it's, yeah.
substance.
You
Okay.
basically impaired your own judgment.
Yourself.
Hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay.
Like, conscious decision to impair your own.
Right.
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 Unless you can somehow prove that somebody drugged you.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless,
I
yeah.
guess, maybe. I don't know.
Good luck with
I
that
I
don't
have
know
one.
no
about that
Yeah.
idea.
either. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's any
So,
lawyers that listen to us, let us know.
yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
So he convinces Bryn to go home and he takes the gun and he puts it in a plastic bag and he follows her.
No.
While she's driving home, she calls another friend and tells them that she has killed Phil.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine getting these phone calls?
No.
No. Can you
I'd be
imagine
like,
being Ron Douglas and her just showing up and being like, hey, by the way,
yeah, no, I
Here's the
can't even.
gun. It's
right.
like,
Can't
no.
even imagine.
So
Right?
I did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they get to the house, Ron goes into the bedroom and he finds Phil, who had been shot between the eyes, in the throat, and in the chest.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm wondering,
Wow.
like, how
Did
crazy
she?
she was
Because
at
my
Ron's house?
But
Right.
my thing is, she's under the influence of multiple substances. How is she that accurate? What is
Well, and
she
that's
been?
why I was like, what was she aiming for? Because
I think she was
between the
really
eyes,
close,
like
probably.
This
that's,
is
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah.
She's
And
got
then
to be like
obviously
standing right over him, kind of
That's
thing.
she
why I was
must have
like, how
been
close was she?
down
Yeah.
because she went boom, boom, boom. So
Yep.
like she probably either down or up, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. I mean, the chest, that makes sense. Center mass. Okay. The throat, close to center mass. I get that. But like, that's
That's
crazy. Like, I'm
crazy.
curious how close she was standing to him. Like,
Yeah.
yikes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, being a normal person, Ron immediately calls the cops at about 6:30 a.m.
Right.
Okay.
Bryn, meanwhile, has locked herself in the bedroom.
Okay.
The cops come.
Meanwhile, the kids are sleeping this whole time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
They
Wow. They slept
find,
through the gunshots. Wow.
yeah.
That's another thing. If I'm a kid,
It's a 4,000 square foot house.
True.
So,
Good point.
yes.
They have their own wing.
Yeah,
yeah.
they're in the yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Fair. Yeah. Okay.
But this part kind of got me. The cops come and find the kids alone, but asleep. So I don't
Okay.
know. I'm thinking the nannies weren't there.
I'm
Must be.
assuming
I'd
not.
assume that the nannies would have heard this.
Oh, absolutely. They probably.
I would have thought the nannies would be live-in nannies and would be there.
Right. So I don't know about that. I couldn't find anything about that.
Hmm.
I just know that they were alone when the cops found them.
Right.
Jeez.
So
Poor
that
things.
says to me that they were probably alone in that house for at least 3 hours
Right.
by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Right.
At least they were sleeping.
At least they were sleeping, but
Because how
Yeah.
terrifying if they're not, you know?
right.
Right.
Well, I mean, they're if they're in a separate part of the house that they didn't hear it anyway, they're basically alone all the time anyway, like without the nanny. If the
Yeah.
nanny's
Fair.
not.
But I mean, still, I can't imagine leaving a
No.
6-year-old by themselves, even an
Right,
8-year-old.
right.
No.
So the cops are escorting the kids out of the house when all of the sudden they hear a shot.
Another
Bryn
one.
has killed herself with a second gun while lying in bed next to Phil.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
goodness.
Because
Oh
remember,
jeez.
Ron has the other gun.
Yep.
Right. So she
Mhm.
had a second
She had a second gun.
firearm.
Yep.
Wow.
So now the cops are like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And now these poor children are orphans.
Yes.
Yeah.
hmm So they start looking into the history and they find out that Bryn had actually been in rehab earlier in the year,
Mhm.
but had relapsed recently before the killing, obviously, because she's got cocaine in
Hmm.
Right.
her system. They also find out just how strained the marriage was from friends,
Okay.
and that Bryn had been seen by a psychiatrist that year who had prescribed her the antidepressant.
Oh, yikes.
So people are trying to help this
Help her,
couple.
yeah.
hmm
And I mean, they were trying counseling themselves too, like so, like
Yeah,
they were trying to make it work as well.
right.
Mhm.
So this isn't one of those instances where you can be like, oh, well, nobody helped her. Like, no,
Yeah, people were
Right.
people were
They
trying.
trying to help
tried.
her. Yeah,
She
Unfortunately,
just
the
didn't want to help
addiction.
herself. Yeah.
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 It just didn't work out. So they also find that the combination of alcohol, her blood alcohol level was 0.12%.
My God.
So I'm like, why did
Wow.
Ron let her drive?
Right.
Seriously.
Because not only is she drunk, but she's probably just crazy and hysterical at this
Hmm.
point, I think.
hmm
Yeah.
Anyway, quite a few things that I was like, why would you do that?
Right.
Right.
Anyway, so she's also got cocaine and this antidepressant in her system at the time of her death. So all of these combined could have led to her becoming violent,
I
Hmm.
mean, if
plus
it's
her
Very easily.
tendency for
yeah.
violence anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm. So it was like shocking for the public and for his friends and colleagues. Like it was a shock when it came out on the radio. You were like, Phil Hartman. Like you
Yeah.
don't expect that. He plays
hmm
Family Guys. He doesn't.
For real. Like this drama is not
Mm-mm.
associated with him at all.
No.
Right.
Yeah,
I
because you
remember,
didn't
yeah.
hear like yeah they had public fights, but that was like an industry thing. You didn't hear that in
Mm-mm.
any of the public stuff.
Right.
hmm
So the death was written into the show News Radio, and the whole
Oh.
episode was dedicated to his loss.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the episode had his character dying of a heart attack, and it was centered
Mm.
around how the characters were dealing with the loss.
Mm.
I remember that
And
episode.
apparently, it was so emotional while filming that it had to be stopped several times.
I can
I
imagine.
bet. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
SNL even aired a tribute to Phil on the first episode of the 1998-1999 season with his former castmates talking about their memories of him.
I remember that episode too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Phil's kids went back to the Midwest to be raised by Bryn's sister, and they've
Okay.
actually done pretty well for themselves and they stay out of the spotlight.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm glad they had
somehow,
family. Like, I mean,
Right.
yeah,
obviously he's got seven brothers and sisters that also could have potentially taken them in, but like I'm glad that they went with family. It
yeah,
wasn't just they didn't become wards of the system or something on top of everything else that just happened to them.
right. And
Right.
yeah, considering like what they went through,
Yeah,
they had a
hmm
pretty normal childhood after that. So,
that's good.
um, but obviously the whole situation was sad, like especially for those
Yeah,
kids. He
tragic
lost
and
both parents to some crazy
shocking.
stuff that was all over the place. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, and did any of the reports or anything say how she was with the children when Phil wasn't there? Like, was she volatile towards them
No,
too?
she was not.
It
She
was
apparently was a really good mom.
okay. Well, that's good. Oh, it was all towards
It was all
him.
him.
Right.
Okay.
hmm
Which,
And
I mean, it
possibly
I
still,
towards the
think
housekeeper.
I
yeah,
think
well, I'm like, and it still sucks that it was
right.
even aimed towards him, but he's an adult, he can process it.
Right.
Right.
Um,
I think more
yeah,
than likely she was probably either jealous or like resentful of
Oh,
him.
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
So a lot of that anger.
But here's the thing is
yeah,
that she may not have been violent towards the kids, but she obviously was drunk and high at some point around them, right?
true.
Right.
Yeah,
So I don't know how well they dealt with that. Like maybe they didn't understand what was going on, but
hmm
apparently when she was like sober, she was a good mom. So
Right.
there you go. But yeah, that is the crazy
Crazy.
winding story of Phil Hartman.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't tell me. I mean, I guess I like that he had passed because I was like, oh, cool, he was in that movie, and now that I've seen the movie, we're gonna talk about him. And how is he doing now? I wonder. I bet he's doing great. He seems like a really funny person. Oh no, he's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I'm
oh.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, you know.
No, it's okay. I
Drop it
mean,
on you like a
Yeah.
bomb.
right. Love the
Uh,
surprise. Hate the
Yeah.
news, but you know,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was shocking when it happened.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to think of like somebody now. It's like if Ryan Reynolds got shot by his wife.
Oh my God.
Like it
Yeah.
was so out of left field. You were like, what
That
the
is wild. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, wait a second, what? Not
who?
them. Not
Yeah.
Right.
them.
Right.
Yes, them.
Yeah. And you didn't hear anything about her really because obviously she's at home with the kids. He's not
Right.
Hmm.
taking her around to places.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you just figured, oh, they're private people, like, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, they,
Crazy.
you never know what's happening behind closed doors.
Right.
Very true.
All right, so there you go, friends. Stay petty, but not
Yes.
as petty as Bryn.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
Don't do
That's
that.
next level petty.
Yeah, that's bad. All right, bye everybody.
See ya.
Bye.